Welcome to my video on hybrid inheritance. In this video we are going to learn what is hybrid inheritance, how to define a derived class, how to define derived classes in hybrid inheritance, creating objects of derived class, C++ program to implement hybrid inheritance, some question answer session, and at the end the exercise or assignment for students. Let us start with types of inheritance. First type is single inheritance, second type multiple inheritance, third type hierarchical inheritance, fourth multi-level inheritance, and the last type is hybrid inheritance. And today in this video we are going to learn about hybrid inheritance. So what is hybrid inheritance? Before that, why it is required? So there may be the situation where programmer need to apply two or more types of inheritance to design a program to solve a problem. So in many problems it is required to implement the combination of multiple types of inheritance, such as single inheritance, multiple inheritance, multi-level inheritance, and hierarchical inheritance in combination. Single or one type of inheritance is not sufficient, and that's why the situation may arise in that the programmer need to apply the multiple, that is two or more types of inheritance to solve the problem. So what is hybrid inheritance? The inheritance in which more than one type of inheritance are combined together is known as hybrid inheritance. So more than one means it may be two or three or four combination of the types of inheritance. For example, combination of multiple and multiple inheritance, or the combination of hierarchical multiple and multi-level inheritance. So the general structure of hybrid inheritance can be like this. There is a base class. From base class, two classes are derived, that is intermediate base class 1 and intermediate base class 2. From this intermediate base classes, one new class is derived, that is a derived class. So like this, here the base class, intermediate base class 1 and derived class, these three classes form multi-level inheritance. Similarly, base class, intermediate base class 2 and derived class, these three classes also form multi-level inheritance. Then base class, intermediate base class and intermediate base class 2, these three classes form hierarchical inheritance, and intermediate base class 1, intermediate base class 2 and derived class, these three classes form multiple inheritance. So like this is a combination of three types of inheritance here: multi-level inheritance, hierarchical inheritance, and multiple inheritance. So how to define base class, derived class, intermediate class? So there is no different definition or special definition for this. As usual, the base class is defined with normal class definition, including data members in private section, member functions in public section. The same thing is applicable to intermediate base classes also. Only there may be one or multiple intermediate base classes, and as per multi-level inheritance, in multiple inheritance we have seen how to define intermediate base class. According to that syntax, you have to define intermediate base classes. The same thing is applicable to derived classes also. There may be one or multiple derived classes, and these derived classes are required to define as per the type of inheritance. Means if it is multiple inheritance, then the derived class will be derived from two or multiple base classes. If it is hierarchical inheritance, then multiple derived classes will be derived from single base class. If it is multi-level, then the derived class will be derived from intermediate base class. So like this, depending on the situation, the derived classes may be defined. For that, you have to identify what type of inheritance is implemented. According to that, you have to define the derived classes. Then various modes that we have studied in previous video, that is private mode, public mode and protected mode. So this generally the private mode is not recommended. Instead public or protected modes can be used as per the requirement of type of inheritance. So any class can be derived publicly or protectedly from its base class. So in this way you have to follow these guidelines whenever you are defining various classes in the hybrid inheritance. Now regarding objects, whenever you are creating objects, the objects are always created of derived classes. The objects are not created of intermediate base classes or base classes. So it is recommended that the objects should be created of derived classes in any type of inheritance, and this rule is applicable, or this recommendation is applicable for hybrid inheritance also. The object of derived class can access the member functions of its own class and its above level classes, that is intermediate base class or base class. It cannot access the member functions of other derived classes. If there are multiple derived classes, then the object of one derived class cannot access the member functions of other derived classes. So that is a restriction. The syntax, that is all of you know that the objects are created like this: derived class and then the name of objects separated by comma ending with semicolon, and these objects can access the member functions of base class, member functions of derived class, as well as member functions of intermediate base class using the syntax object dot member function and into bracket arguments if any. Now let us see the example. There is a class student. From class student, one class is derived named test. So the test class is derived from student class. There is one independent microproject class, and now from test and microproject, these two classes, one new class is derived, that is result class. So like this, here in this structure there are four classes: student, test, microproject and result. Now here in this figure, the classes student, test and result, these three classes form multi-level inheritance, while the classes test, microproject and result form multiple inheritance. So it is a combination of two types of inheritance: multi-level inheritance and multiple inheritance. So like this is an example of hybrid inheritance. Let us go for the program, C++ program, and the problem definition for C++ program is like this. First of all, the diagram is given, that is there is one class student having data members roll number and name. From student class, the test class is derived having data members marks1 and marks2. So marks1 represents test1 marks and marks2 represents test2 marks. So the marks of two tests. There is microproject class which is having only one data member, that is marks3, that is the marks of microprojects. From these two classes, that is from test and microproject, from these two classes one class is derived, that is result class. This class is having only one data member, that is total marks. So like this, here the student, test and result classes form multi-level inheritance, while test, microproject and result classes form multiple inheritance. So now the problem definition given is like this: write a C++ program to implement the hybrid inheritance as shown in given figure. In this we have to accept roll number, name, test marks and microproject marks of a student and display total marks. Now this total marks is nothing but the average of test marks plus microproject marks. So whatever here the marks 1 and marks 2, these are the marks of two tests, and you have to find out the average of these two marks, and in that average you have to add the microproject marks, and that is the total marks of the subject. So the concept is that it is already implemented in the iScheme of diploma, and that every subject or every course is having the theory progressive assessment marks, that is out of 30, and these 30 marks are distributed into two components. One component is average test marks, that is of 20, and the microproject marks of out of 10. So 20 plus 10, 30. That is a 30 is a total marks for any subjects theory progressive mark, that is called as THPA marks. And this particular examination scheme is implemented in Diploma in Engineering under I scheme of MSBT. And the same thing, for the same thing we are going to write a C++ program by implementing hybrid inheritance with the help of these 4 classes. Let us write a program. As usual, include iostream.h header file. First of all, we will define base class 1. Our first base class is class student, and in this there are 2 data members, roll number and name. Roll number is integer type and name is a character type array of 15 size. In public section, let us define the member function get student, and in this we will perform input operation to accept the value of roll number and name of student. So first of all, display the message, enter roll number, then accept roll number, enter name, this is a message, and using getS function accept the name of student and end the function. So like this we have completed the function definition of member function get student, which does not accept any arguments and does not return any value. Both are void. Let us go for second member function, that is put student. This function also does not accept any argument and does not return any value, void function. Only using cout object and insertion operator we are going to display the value of roll number and name. So simple output operations, that is display name, first display roll number and then display name of student. So let us end the base class, that is now the definition of student class is finished. Let us go for next class on the next slide. Intermediate base class. So in our problem, the intermediate base class is the test class. So this test class is publicly derived from student base class. So test is a derived class, student is the base class, and like this particular line indicates the relationship between 2 classes, that is the class test is inherited publicly from the class student. So that is indicated by that colon symbol, that is the relationship between the derived class and base class. Now let us have the declaration of data members. 2 data members are there, marks 1 and marks 2, both are integer type, and I have declared these data members in protected mode. So instead of private mode I use protected mode because these 2 data members, marks 1 and marks 2, I am going to use in next class, that is the derived class of test class, that is in result class. So in result class I am going to use to find the total marks, and that's why here it is necessary to declare these data members marks 1 and marks 2 as protected instead of private. If they are declared as private, then we cannot access these 2 data members to find the total, because that will be, there will be the restriction, that is a private members are not allowed to access out of the class, but protected members are allowed to access in the immediate derived class. In public section, the member function to accept marks, that is get marks, here I will accept the marks of 2 subjects, that is marks 1 and marks 2. So just perform the simple input operation using scene and extraction operators. Let us go for ending the intermediate base class. So like this we have finished the definition of intermediate base class, that is test, which is publicly derived from student class. Let us go for definition of the another class, that is base class 2, which is microproject class. This microproject class is not derived from any other class, it is independent base class. Here also this is having the marks 3, that is the protected, because this marks 3 also I am going to access in the result class, which is the immediate derived class of this microproject class, and for that it is necessary to declare this marks 3 data member as protected instead of private. In public section, again I am going to define a member function to accept this microproject marks. So get microproject get project marks, this is the name of the member function. It is a void function, it does not accept any argument, does not return any value. enter micro project marks, scene extraction operator marks 3. So simple input operation is there, and again there is no output operation because the calculations we are going to perform in next class, that is in the result class. So let us end the base class. So this micro project base class, that is independent, which is not derived from any other class. Let us define the derived class, that is using multiple inheritance. Multiple inheritance means a class is derived from multiple base classes. So here the result class is being inherited from two classes, that is class test and class micro project. So the class result is publicly derived from test and micro project classes. So like this, one class is derived from two base classes, so it is multiple type of inheritance. Let us declare data members. Only one data member is there, that is total marks, that is of integer type. In public section I am going to define now put total function. Here this is also a void type of function, do not accept any argument, do not return any value. Let us calculate the total marks first by implementing the formula. Now in this formula I am going to use, or we are going to access intermediate class data members. Intermediate class data members means the intermediate base class data members, that is marks 1, marks 2 and marks 3. Marks 1, marks 2 are from test class and marks 3 from micro project marks. So total is equal to marks 1 plus marks 2 divided by 2.0. So in this red color I am finding the average test marks from marks 1 and marks 2 plus marks 3. Marks 3 indicate micro project marks. So average marks of test marks will be out of 20 and marks 3 will be out of 10, and like this we will get the total out of 30, and let us display the total marks. So like this, input total function just calculate the total marks from test marks and micro project marks and display it. End of the derived class. So like this, here I am accessing intermediate base class data members which are declared as protected. So if this marks 1, marks 2 and marks 3 are declared as private, then this statement will not be allowed. But as they are declared as protected, we can do, or we can make the use of these three data members, marks 1, marks 2 and marks 3, to find the total marks in derived class. Now let us go for the main function or the main program. Main function, first of all, create object of derived class. So our derived class is result, and I am creating now the object R from the result class. First of all, let us perform input operation and accept the data of students. So first of all, display the prompt message for user enter data of student. Then call getStudent function using R object r.getStudent. So here we are calling base class 1 function. So getStudent is the member function of base class 1, that is student class. So it will accept roll number and name through this member function. Then r.getMarks. So here we are calling the base class function. So this base class intermediate base class function, that is from test class getMarks, it will accept marks 1 and marks 2. Then r.getProjectMarks. So this is base class 2 function call where it will accept marks 3 value. Like this, your input operation is performed. We accepted total 5 values, that is roll number and name using getStudent function, marks 1 and marks 2 using getMarks function, and marks 3 using getProjectMarks function. All three functions are being called using object R. Now let us display the output. First, the heading for output, data of student, put student, that is r.putStudent will display roll number and name of student. This is the member function call, and which is of base class 1 function. r.putTotal, this is the derived class function call, and here it will calculate the total and display the total marks and end the main function. So like this, your main function is defined, and let us run the program and let us see what will be the output. The output will be like this: First of all, the message will be displayed, enter data of student, then enter roll number, the user may enter 75, then enter name, user may enter Sanjay Patil suppose, enter marks of two subjects, that is the test marks 16 and 20, these two values are entered, enter micro project marks, the marks 10 are entered, the test marks are out of 20 and micro project marks are out of 10, and now the average of 16 plus 20 will be calculated, that is 16 plus 20, that is 36, and divided by 2, that comes 18, and that 18s will be added to 10 and it will come 28. So the data of student will be displayed like this: roll number 75, name Sanjay Patil, and total marks 28. So like this we will get the total marks from marks 1, marks 2 and marks 3. So in this way we have implemented hybrid inheritance to solve the given problem to find the total marks of a particular student. Now let us check your understanding. Hope you understood the concept of hybrid inheritance, how to write a C++ program using hybrid inheritance. So some simple questions for you in the form of true and false. The first question is, hybrid inheritance is a combination of two types of inheritance only, whether it is true or false. Second question, in hybrid inheritance there may be multiple base classes and multiple derived classes. So you may have multiple base classes, you may have multiple derived classes to implement hybrid inheritance, whether it is true or false. Third question, with respect to hybrid inheritance, which statement is correct? So below I am going to display the various statements A, B, C, D. First statement is, one class is derived from multiple base classes. Multiple classes are derived from single base class. One class is derived from another class which itself is derived from another class, and statement D is all of above are correct. So out of this A, B, C, D, you have to identify which statement is correct with respect to hybrid inheritance. And the last question is, hybrid inheritance is a combination of more than one types of inheritance, whether it's true or false. So very simple questions. If you understood the concept in this video, you can easily answer. You may answer the questions in the comment box below the video. Now let us have the exercise or assignment for you, and to check whether you have understood the concept by writing the program. There is a class employee having two data members, employee number and name. From this employee derive a class earning, and the data members of earning class are basic, DA and HRA. That is basic salary, DA means day earnings allowance, and HRA means house rent allowance. So this is the earning part of salary of any employee. Then there is one deduction part of salary in which the amount is deducted from the salary of employee, and there are three components. One is tax, then PF means provident fund, and loan premium, that is the employee is having loan, that may be home loan or like that, and the installment premium is being paid and that is deducted from his salary. So like this, here from the earning this deduction will be subtracted. From these two classes, that is earning and deductions, one class is derived, that is salary, which is having two data members, gross salary and net salary. So two types of salaries are there. Gross salary. Gross salary means it is earning. Earning means basic plus DA plus HRA, that indicates gross salary. And net salary means from this from this gross salary you have to subtract deductions. Means you have to subtract provident fund amount, tax amount and loan premium amount, and whatever the remaining amount, that is called as net salary. So the problem definition is like this: write a C++ program to implement the hybrid inheritance as shown in figure. Accept employee number, name, basic salary, DA percentage, HRA percentage, tax, provident fund and loan premium of employee, and display gross salary and net salary. So HRA, that is HRA percentage. So every salary is having this HRA and DA component in terms of percentage. That is, employee is earning HRA suppose 15% in urban area, 10% in rural area, 20% in metropolitan city, like that. Or In case of DA also, the DA may be 25% of basic salary, 50% of basic salary, or 35%. So how much in terms of percentage the company or the government is declaring it? The tax means that is the income tax which is deducted from the salary, that is a TDS, tax deducted at source. Provident fund, which is deposited in the provident fund PF account of that employee, and the loan premium is deducted from the salary and is paid to the bank who gave the loan to the employee. So like this, the HRA, first of all you have to accept the basic salary and HRA percentage, and using that you have to find the HRA amount, house rent amount, that is basic into HRA percentage divided by 100, and DA is calculated as basic into DA percentage divided by 100. So like this you will get the HRA amount and DA amount, and you have to add these two amounts in basic salary amount to get gross salary. So your formula for gross salary is equal to basic plus DA plus HRA. So this DA and HRA is not percentage, this is amount, that is a percentage, DA percentage of basic salary and HRA percentage of basic salary. Then net salary is to be calculated as gross salary minus all the deductions, that is tax plus PF plus loan premium. So this amount will be deducted from the gross salary, you will get net salary. So like this, implement this hybrid inheritance and write a C++ program for that, and you can have a practice, refer the program which I have taught in this video, and on the same line you can write the program. Thank you for watching this video on hybrid inheritance.